ぱり変だよ。上り坂だよここ。
やっぱりとは何よ、いちいちうるさい男ね。ほら、今度こそ間違いないわ。
Why, hello there. Fancy seeing you here. I see you have been tempted by the glory that is Coldheart. Coldheart is an OG. It was originally a pre-order bonus for Destiny 2, and until Forsaken was released it was a primary weapon. Weirdly enough though, I have a better memory of Coldheart as a primary than as special, despite the fact that it was only a primary for a year. But that was then, and this is now. And now, I'd like to take some of your time to talk about the blinding build that I've been working on. It leverages the Arc Fragment Spark of Beacons, which lets you make blinding pulses when scoring Arc special kills while amplified. As you can see from the thumbnail and the little meme at the start, we're using Coldheart. So why use Coldheart over any other special weapon is now the question. Trace rifles are the only special weapon type that lack the ability to one-shot another player, but still have a more limited ammo economy. Trace rifles do make up for their lack of power with a boost of versatility. All of them except for Ruinous Effigy have a aim assist stat of 100, all have extremely high stability, and all the exotics, except for Ruinous Effigy and Divinity, have a synergy with their matching elemental subclass. So what does Coldheart itself bring to the table? It brings a time to kill of 0.67 seconds in 11 crits at 1000 RPM, a stat package of 70 range, 90 stability when masterworked, 25 handling, 50 reload when masterworked, 16 zoom, 14 airborne effectiveness, and 101 in the mag. That 14 airborne effectiveness does look low, but you do still have perfect inner accuracy with trace rifles, you just don't get the aim assist benefits that higher airborne effectiveness would grant you. The perks. Coldheart's first perk, Cold Fusion, allows it to ramp up damage the longer you remain on target. Your damage starts at 18 per crit, but it's only up from there. And while in the high damage state, you can make use of its other perk, Longest Winter, which allows you to make Ionic Traces when in that high power state. Ionic Traces are another part of Arc 3.0. They're little seekers that travel across the ground and grant ability energy when picked up by players. But with the electrostatic mind aspect, we create Ionic Traces when killing jolted or blinded targets, and it makes us amplified when picking up Ionic Traces. So, the build. We want to be amplified as often as possible. But Coldheart doesn't generate Ionic Traces very often because they're only generated when in the fully powered state. So in earlier iterations of the build, when I was using Fallen Sunstar, I wasn't consistently getting amplified enough. Realising this, I remembered what would become the other component of the build, which is the Getaway Artist Gloves for Warlock. They are the easiest way to get amplified in the game. When using them, you gain the ability to consume your Arc Grenade charge to generate a sentient Arc Soul and become amplified, and when the turret deals damage it returns some grenade energy. And, because it has the shortest cooldown, we're using the Flashbang Grenade to help charge the Arc Buddy faster. Alright, this seems like a good segue to talk about the rest of the subclass choices now. For our other aspect, we're using Lightning Surge, which is the cool slide melee. It jolts targets in an area around it when you exit the melee. And since when we kill jolted targets with our other aspect, Electrostatic Mind, that lets us get amplified. Fragments. Spark of Beacons, which is our fragment that allows us to blind on kill. Spark of Momentum is to load Coldheart by sliding over ammo and grants some grenade energy. Spark of Amplitude creates orbs when getting multi-kills while amplified. And Spark of Resistance grants some damage reduction when surrounded, but you could change this for whichever other fragment you like except for, I would say, Spark of Shock, which allows arc grenades to jolt targets, but it doesn't affect the sentient Arc Soul. As for the melee, I chose the Ball Lightning because it's slightly more versatile than the other choice. We can throw it up over cover or over Titan barricades to catch players hiding behind them. The Super Either one is fine, but I used Chaos Reach to be double beaming. And I'll show my mods in the stat spread here. This is by no means optimal, but it's the best I could get with my existing armour. I used a single trace rifle targeting on the helmet, arc siphon, and taking charge to use the orbs regenerate to become charged with light. Double grenade kickstart on my getaway artist. I used 2 copies rather than 1 copy with 1 fastball because I care more about the cooldown boost than having a longer grenade throwing arc in the build. In this build, sorry. Double unflinching trace rifle on the chest. High energy fire, recuperation and innovation on the boots. The orb grabbing mods here don't really matter that much, they're just for personal taste. And finally, powerful friends and outreach on the class item. Having outreach here activates the effect of powerful friends, which grants us a +20 to the mobility stat. How it all comes together is we consume our flashbang to become amplified and get the arc soul out. This allows us to start making blinding explosions when getting kills with a cold heart, and we get a little bit of help from the arc buddy. Double kills will make additional orbs of power for you and your allies. This gets you stacks of charge with light, boosts your damage, and repeat. As for the weaknesses of the build though, that would be ammo, lethality, and flinch. Trace Rifle's super high fire rate leads them to chewing through a lot of special ammo. They do pick up somewhere between 26 and 30 per brick, but you'd be surprised how much you use when not hitting shots perfectly. Lethality, I mentioned earlier, this isn't a special weapon type that can get instant kills, so you really do need to leverage your range when fighting things like shotguns and fusions. Snipers are still quite difficult to flinch, but that's not purely a cold heart problem. What is a cold heart problem is that trace rifles can be very difficult to use when being flinched yourself. You've been seeing it all video, but I'll throw up a slowed down example here. It's not fun. I do think I heard this is getting an adjustment in the future, but I could just be lying. That though is the build. I don't very often use trace rifles or getaway artist, but I think cold heart and getaway artist were the move to complete this build. I hope this video inspired you to try the build out or create your own spin on it. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.